Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are new here, my name is Simone with a C, and I don't even know how to introduce myself anymore. But on this channel, we do a wide variety of literally everything. My end goal is to be a LPC, and right now I'm in transition. I'm a teacher, second grade, and that's been going really well. And I think I've been pretty okay with keeping you up, like today, with what's going on, keeping you in a loop and everything like that. So we're good on that angle. There's a lot that's been going on. I was just kind of like, do I want to do a live update? Do I want to do a content video? Like, what do I want to do? I wasn't sure, but I'm just here to ramble. Literally ramble to give y'all content so you don't unsubscribe because I'm being inconsistent. And really and truly, I'm not. It's just there's a lot going on right now. And I am emotionally shut down. Like, I can't do the things that I enjoy doing because I have a full schedule. And when I don't have a full schedule, I find myself scratching my behind because it's just like, what do we want to do? First things first. So I told y'all that I have decided to nullify my marriage, and that's still an ongoing thing. Friends who have been supportive, thank you so much. Friends who have not been so supportive, thank you very much. Friends who've been very religious, thank you very much. But you, as well as I, know better than anyone that I too know my Bible, and I know what's permissible and what's not. And I believe that I have enough information to make an informed consent decision what I want to do. And I figured out that it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while because there's a lot to consider. Like, this is not some boyfriend that I met the other day and I can kind of be like, oh, you're not giving me what I want, okay, I'm up and out. That's not that kind of situation. It is a lot different. You know, there is paperwork. There were witnesses that saw, you know, there and witnessed the holy matrimony and the vows that we made to each other. Well, we didn't read no don't say that. No, we didn't read no vows, and I still wear the ring. He doesn't wear his ring anymore, but y'all can ask him why he does that. But I'm gonna wear this ring till I want to get this ring off. And honestly speaking, this is keeping a lot of people away from talking to me. And honestly, maybe that might just be the best for everyone at this moment, you know, because hurt people. And I'm not saying like he's completely guilty, because I too am. I'm dirty. What I mean by that is I sin. I fall short of the glory of God every single day. And there are instances where I could have conducted myself better or made a better choice, and I didn't. Because I'm flesh. But, you know, it is what it is. We're humans. We're learning. We're growing. Which is why I can't get behind why people will sit up there and put a righteous finger in your face like they too are not guilty. And I get it. Like, you know. And I have stopped, not ministering to people, but I've stopped sharing a lot of like my perspectives and my ideologies to people, because I realize, like, you know, in the Bible how it says like a teacher will be like judged the harshest because, you know, of their responsibility, you know, just like pastors and people in power, like prophets and things like that, who's playing with the word of God right now, by the way, that they're going to have a harsher punishment. I feel that. And so as a result, I rather don't say that than to, you know, say something that's completely contrary to the word of God, and I'm leading tens of thousands of people astray. I kid you not. I can have a TikTok platform if I wanted to. Kid you not. Could have more followers on here, but following me for what? You know what I mean? Like following the wrong thing. And that's not what I stand for. And it'll never be what I stand for. So I can only speak on my process and the things that I go through, and hopefully people resonate with that, and then they, you know, vibe with me because of my personality, and you know, learn to know Jesus through that, you know. But that's another conversation for another day. So graduate school, you guys, let's give it up. Let's give, like I tell my kids all the time, silent party. Oh, it's not silent, Miss Williams. Your bangles are, your bracelet is shaking. Okay, like I completed my first year of graduate school. Well, after 2 more assignments for my online class, but graduate school, graduate school. Now, what I learned in graduate school is that there are people there that will love you, and, you know, whatever, because you've learned when you're in grad school, you've learned that like you don't go to school, you don't go to work for friends, but if they come along, then fine. I have met one wonderful person from graduate school. I adore her completely. We have, created a friendship, and I love her. Like, she's super cool. And on the other hand, there are people who just can't stand me. I don't know why, but I'm gonna tell you a little story time about this one girl. We had a group project to do together, and prior to that, she was she was kind of cool. I don't know, like, she had her first presentation with my friend that I'm talking to you about. I'm from graduate school, and I was just like, ew, like, why is she so extra? Again, I will have a lot of these don't say that moments, but why is she so extra? Like, ew, like, it just kind of threw me off, and it wasn't like extra good. It was just like, okay. Anyways, prior to our research project or whatnot, we were cordial. Like, she gave me her number because she noticed that we were going to be partners at the end of the term. And that was that at first. Then we had this book that we were reading for our substance abuse class, and then she was just kind of like, oh, like, I hear the points that you make in class. I'm understanding that you're an analytic person. And I was just kind of like, I would say that I don't know. I think like I gravitate towards things that have explanations, and that's that. Like, she called it analytical, but her terminology, they're basically the same thing. And I was like, oh, thanks, I guess. So I got back with my friend, and then we left out. But like the next Monday, when it was time to present our stuff, we agreed via text message that she was going to do one chapter and I was going to do the other chapter or whatever. I guess she saw the titles of the chapter and underestimated like what it was going to be or how dense the material would be. And she going to come up to me on Monday, following Monday when we had class, at the end of class, and states, can we switch because this chapter is a little hard and I wouldn't know what to talk about. And I was like, girl, no problem. The only thing I would be worried about is presenting first because my chapter precedes hers, And she was just like, oh, girl, don't worry, blah, blah. But the end of that conversation ended with me saying, yes, no problem. I will take it. That was my only concern. I don't care. Hand me potatoes, hand me radish. We gonna have a nice ensemble of whatever the hell we eat. That's it. I make lemonade out of every lime. Well, limeade out of every lime situation. That was the agreement. And I went home. I was like, cool, whatever. I started working on it like 4 days in advance. I texted her on the 4th day that I was working on it. I was like, oh, hey, like, can you take a look at the template? Da, da, da. Oh, I showed it to my sister. The template's a little too much purple. Whatever. Okay, cool. I changed it. She was like, oh, yeah, that's better. So I did. I stayed up the whole night, did the whole thing, you guys. And on Saturday, she gonna come talking about what chapter did you do? I'm like, I did chapter 21. That's what we agreed. That's what you told me you couldn't do, so do it, right? And she was just like, no, you did the wrong chapter. I'm like, cues crickets. No, I didn't. You did the right. No, I did not. What you talking about? So I'm like, you know what? It's fine. The Jesus in me, the Peter in me. Actually, no, I'm Peter. Period. The John in me. John in me rose up, and I was just like, okay, no problem. So would you like me to do chapter 22? Yeah. And then she proceeded to say, oh yeah, my chapters are completed because you already did it, and went on to start editing my work. The hell, girl, English 101, the College of Staten Island, New York. When I got into that class, I learned what plagiarism was and the consequences of said actions. And you don't plagiarize nobody's work. If it's not yours, you can't just steal it and run off. So how the hell you editing my work? You crazy? I lost my goddamn mind. So that's when the Peter in me started rising up. And I was just like, you know what? I already did chapter 21. You can do chapter 22. We had an agreement whether you want to say what you want to say. And she was going in on me, child, talking about something. I need validation because my college friend was there when she talked to me about the situation. I was like, girl, hey, like, this is what's going down. Would you back me up? Like, and she's just like, of course. Like, you know, what is she talking about? That's that. So I was like, cool, I got a witness, I can make it happen. She gonna say, oh, you need validation because you know this is false. Like, and talk about I think she said it's the morals for me. Like, girl, you not talking about morals. So I sent it to my college friend. She sent me a nice written paragraph. I copied it, pasted that John right in her text box, and I sent it over. What? Anyways, the next day she apologized to me, and it didn't matter because I told her the day before that I was going to tell the professor, which is what I did. And she was like, oh, you threatening me? I'm like, girl, call it what you want. So I called up some people, asked them how to take her off the PowerPoint because we were sharing, like, she can see on like it's like a Google Docs, but a PowerPoint for university. And I was like, how to kick her off that because that is totally ridiculous. What? So that came and left. She apologized the next day. I was like, girl, I'm cool. Like, I don't really care. I'm not going to, internalize anything. And I'm going to get to internalizing things in a minute. But I'm not going to internalize that. That is obviously a reflection of yourself, like, whatever. And the day came when we presented and she was not there on time, but it was probably attributed to the fact that class was virtual that day. But I kicked some ass with my presentation. I went and gave examples. I did the damn thing because I was well prepared, because I got the chapter and I knew I would have to give myself a little bit more time to digest that information because I had already programmed my mind to do 22 prior to her asking me. And I just knocked some ass, like I kicked ass. And then the professor was just like, really good job, Simone. Like, that's cool, blah, blah, blah. Then she come on the presentation, and before she could just dive into her content, she gonna tell the professor, pardon me if I'm not as prepared as Simone. We had a misunderstanding. Girl, nobody cares about the misunderstanding. And if you have to talk to him in private. Like, what? You're already unprepared. You're worried about the wrong thing, sweetie. So I believe I aced it, but I haven't seen my grades yet for that class. But I believe that I aced that presentation based on the feedback that I got. And right after she finished presenting, our professor is basically like, it's not enough. And he could just be overviewing, but man, the little petty in me. He's like, oh yeah, it's not enough to just read the content. It takes a lot to kind of understand and then have a deep understanding to where you can articulate said information. And he was going on about that. And I was just like, ooh, trouble in paradise. But she hung around after the Zoom, I guess, to have a one-on-one with him to talk about what transpired. But it was already too late. And I was very upfront and honest. Like, ain't no reason for me to sit there lying on you, girl. Like, what? What do I gain from that? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that too is reporting to the professor when there's foul play involved. And there was. But that's the only that's not the only super dramatic thing that's happened to me in graduate school. Hold on. I'm skipping a part. So this is this semester, right? Last semester, we had an incident where a girl, it was like a group project, right? We're talking about ethics and codes, and we had a scenario where we had to break it down ethically and find the bylaws and whatnot about the situation. And this one girl, like, she didn't keep up with the chat for nothing, didn't want to do her part for nothing or whatnot. And the very last minute, she came up with this excuse about a family passing. And true or not, like, you're still responsible for your work. Like, I'm so sorry, and I do have compassion. However, I don't feel like it's fair for us to do your work, and we have stuff going on in our life too. It may not be that severe, but we're not excused to life. It happens, whatever. And child, let me tell you how she waited last minute. Then she slapped a graph onto our APA 7th paper that was perfectly outlined, like per requirements on Purdue Al's website. And she just slapped the graph on there, did not care about formatting or nothing. Like, I'm talking about in the middle of the essay, just slapped a graph. And like 2 and 2 words. And we were just like, we taking it out, delete it expeditiously. We didn't just delete it behind her back. We told her, like, hey, we're deleting this because it don't belong there. And she was just like, okay, whatever. What do I need to do to fix this? I'm like, girl, paper due tomorrow. Like, what you talking about? Push came to shove, we had to come together to figure out how we're going to do her part in such short time, which is what we did with her being there. Whole time we're there fixing her paper, she on the phone outside. So we informed the professor of what was popping off. And when it comes to, because we had to like rate each other on like the input for the project, and we all give her really low scores. Tell me why this ever gonna call me and talking about something. How did I get this? I asked y'all what was I doing wrong, and y'all told me this, that, and the third. And I'm like, we did your work. That's why all of our names were on your headings. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to the other members of the group to relay those concerns. All right. Okay. Have a good day, girl. Hung up the phone. Like, bye. What the hell? I can't expect nothing to you now. I can't go change it. Like, what? So I call up the rest of the people from the group. I'm like, oh, hey, expect a phone call from XYZ at this time because she wants to know how she got a low grade. So feel free to be candid. Feel free to hold back, whatever. But I was so terrified that I was going to be having to run into her in person. Because this thing, like, what am I going to say? If you try to find me in graduate school, I'm getting expelled, honey. And, like, how am I going to be a counselor telling people, you know, I believe you should take the pacifist view on this, and you should work through your issues by just kind of talking about it and, you know, keeping on that track and journaling and, you know, keeping voice memos, and I'm sitting up here in the university fund. That made no sense. So that was that. We never saw her again. I guess she accidentally got kicked out because she was on probation, but that's not our fault. Like, that's her fault. I'm not sure if she did. I'm just, worst case scenario, that's that. Anyways, with education now, because this video is getting really long and it's not a story time, it's supposed to be a life update. Internalizing things. So what I've learned in my 24 years on this planet is that what people say or do to you is just a reflection of what's coming out of them. It don't got nothing to do with you. It got everything to do with them. For example, my classroom management. My kids are bad. My kids are bad because my kids been bad. My kids been bad the grade before. My kids been bad the grade before the grade before. My kids didn't get bad because of me. And as a result, I will not internalize those behaviors, and I will not be treated as it is my fault. Because it ain't. It's not my fault. So sorry. So sorry. I do have the patience, though, to wake up every morning, go to school, and deal with it. And on Fridays, I say, you know what? It's Friday. I don't care what pops off in this classroom. We gonna have a good day. Because there are some kids who sit there and they're here for the right reasons. And other instances, I blame parents. I'm so sorry. I blame the parents and also the classroom environment of a child who wasn't properly parented. Is what I blame. But I will not internalize anything. Grade bad because the grade want to be bad. They were bad before I got here, and I'm pretty sure they'll be bad after. I will have all things implemented. I've tried to do blurb beans, which is going to be a disaster because I tell my kids, like, finders keepers, losers weepers, because we started doing the ticket system. We do class dojo. We do, you know, snacks. Spend money buying snacks a whole lot of time. You know how many blow pops I done bought? Chips, so not soda, chips, Capri Suns, which got stolen, by the way. And I do a lot for my children in order to foster that good behavior. Now, when they're at the age where they're trying to develop an identity and it is being supported by whatever they do at home and whatever another kid does to them, which is just kind of like feeding off that energy, what am I going to do? And on top of that, I am not the only one dealing with behavior issues. There's a plethora of teachers in education dealing with behavior issues. And so with that being said, it can't be my fault. It can't be the chips I'm giving them. It can't be the jelly sticks I'm giving them. It can't be the blow pops I'm giving them. It's environmental at that point. And if it's environmental, it's above me. That's it. I spend a lot of time on life lessons. I spend a lot of time on be the example. Be a good role model. Be a good role model. Have integrity. Have integrity. And they'll sit there, they'll tell you the definition, and they'll do it the exact opposite. But what I did learn at the end of my year, because I'm still first year, it's a whole bunch of stuff that happened, but I can't tell y'all now. It's gonna have to be like another video. But there's a lot that happened with my situation, and I'm considering myself a first year teacher, but I think I did pretty damn good for my first year, and I don't care who has anything contrary to say about that. I did pretty damn good because, as you can tell, I'm still employed. You see this dress? Yep, couldn't have been able to afford it without the teacher check. See this necklace? Couldn't have been afforded. See the rest of my charms? Because I think the last time you saw my charms, it was more few than this. I can afford charms. I can afford Sol de Janeiro. I can afford Trader Joe's. I can afford Starbies. Come on now. It ain't my fault. I did a pretty damn good job for a first year teacher. And the behavior is above me. And so with that being said, I will not internalize anything. When administration got stuff to say, I'm just going to be like, yes, ma'am. Oh, I don't like your grade level. Me neither. I will not internalize anything. It is not my fault. I'm not losing sleep over these kids. I'm not crying. I did cry one time because he hit me. But, well, he hit me and I just, it was a lot for me in that moment. It's another story time for another day. But I will not. No, I'm not. I'm not crying for no administration's feedback. Y'all are not in my shoes. You do not understand what's going on in my classroom as much as you want to have the sophisticated Bloom's terminology to combat what the hell you think you see. That's it. I will not internalize anything. I'll be okay. Principal got to come in my classroom to set down the law. Go ahead. I've said them before, but you can solidify what I've said. I'm not internalizing anything. I'm not a bad teacher. This is above me. It's beyond me. And I wish teachers across the nation will have that mindset. And I understand that it may take away from the other kids' education. And that's the whole reason why you're a teacher. However, we are given these circumstances. And so these are the solutions that go with those modern circumstances. Not internalizing anything. The kids who want to learn, you pour into them. The kids who don't want to learn and want love, you give them love. You want hugs from me all day but don't want to do your work. Okay. Come here, Poppy. Come here, Poppy. Come here, Princess Poppy. Poppy's from Trolls. She hugs every hour. But come here, Princess Poppy. Or Prince Poppy. I'm giving you what you come here for. I think it stems from like the passion of teachers and what they envision or have the preconceived notion of what education is supposed to be, and then they get into the field and they realize it's a whole bunch of don't say that. Anyways, this video is getting way too long, but if you want to hear me ramble another time, you can comment below and I will be sure to do that for you. Without further ado, I'm hoping to see you in my next video. Bye bye.